Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Nick Parrow. We are here on Sick of This Shit Publications, and I'm not your dad. I screwed that one up today, but that's all right. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Sick of This Shit Publications. I'm Nick Parrow, not your dad, here with my friend Jack for a reschedule of our intelligent masculinity discussion from earlier today. Jack had a mental health time to center himself in that is okay. And so we rescheduled to this afternoon. So, hey, what's up, everyone? You're not losing your mind, Neuro. We are here at a weird time and not a normal show time. So, sorry, everybody. Unexpected afternoon show, not your normal time. But smash the heart as you come on in, say hi. We're going to have an intelligent masculinity discussion here. Jack, do you mind introducing yourself a little bit for everyone?
Hey, all. Thanks so much for having me, Nick. And thank you for the reschedule. I needed that time this morning. Um, so I'm Jack. I'm a millennial. I'm
Woot
a
woot.
trained nurse. Yeah, woo for millennials. We get a bad rep.
We get shit on
Um,
all the time.
for sure. I am originally from New Jersey by way of Portugal. I'm no longer in the States because the U.S. was no longer safe for me. Um, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking to Nick and maybe showing the world what some trans masculinity looks like.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here for this discussion with me. We've had some really incredible masculinity discussions from a 19-year-old, Shared Swaney, who's co director of Centered America and has done some incredible stuff, which set up Centered America, which is a 501c4 organization, to some of our older end on I won't out any of our older gentlemen, but to on some of our older end where we've had some really incredible discussions as masculinity has matured. We've had very few millennials though. Yet most have been outside of our age range. Hey, I'm a millennial too. I sit right in the middle of the millennial, towards the end. I'm a 90s baby, so I'm 36. And Jack, how old are you exactly? Do you
So
mind sharing?
I'm an 89 baby, but still
Ooh,
36. I'm still on the very young side of 89.
ooh.
I
Okay,
feel
so
like
we
once I
probably
hit
were.
37, it's gonna be like, oh, yeah. My husband just said yes, so he's very much older than I am. So
Oh,
no, he's
okay.
not very much older. He's only a few years though.
He's only like 37 and a half or something.
Yeah,
Like
sure. 37
so
and a
much
half we'll give
older.
him today. He's
Yeah, we'll
happy with
give
that one.
well. Oh, okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm here for you. Um, so this is going to be so much fun. We would have gone to high school together. We would have actually been probably in the same grade throughout school.
Yeah, oh
So this is
07, right?
cool.
Class of oh 07?
Oh 08. I was 08. My parents kept me into the. I was not ready to go to kindergarten. If I wanted to start for the '07 class, I would have been that kid that would have disrupted everything and destroyed the teacher's life. And I'm glad my parents were smart enough to hold me back.
Yeah, my parents were like, let's get this one out of the house and sent me early. I'm September 20th, so they're like, no, get out of here. Like, you're just right at the cusp. So,
Hmm. Oh, so
yeah.
you were always so young for your grade.
hmm Yeah,
Interesting.
I was always the little one, like both in size and age
Yeah.
growing up, for sure, yeah.
So uh, just before we even get into the discussion for the questions for intelligent masculinity itself, is how did that impact you? Like, how did that, like, being young, being short, being just in size and age smaller than others, how did that impact you growing up, and what did it do to help like shape the direction that you took?
So, I definitely got bullied relentlessly. Like it was a terrible, like I had a terrible, terrible childhood. Um, I had one friend in school who I'm still friends with to this day, Sarah De Silva. Shout out to Sarah. She practiced doing really good fades while she was in Cosmo School. because that was always fun getting free haircuts. But yeah, it was bad. Kids are cruel, and more specifically, I think millennial kids are especially cruel because a lot of kids in my class had parents that were so checked out that they like did not get disciplined for being a bully. So it just like evolved into this like, I was the target. I
Yeah.
was the slim picking easy target. And then not only being small but also like being in the wrong body. Like being a trans kid without the knowledge or the vocabulary for what I was feeling and just knowing that the shell that I was living in was wrong and it was getting picked on by others already, even at 6 years old. And like I
Hmm.
was picking on my body and others were picking on my body and like the adults weren't stopping it. So
Yeah.
like I think us millennials had really shitty adults. I'm just gonna put it out there. We're like,
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair. I think some of us had good adults, and but we also all interacted with some pretty bad ones.
yeah.
So I definitely agree. So how early in life did you realize that you were in the wrong body when you were a kid?
When my brother was born. So my brother and I are 5.5 years apart.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I was
so
5.5.
really young. So like
Yeah.
kindergarten age.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
I I
go
would
ahead.
help. I would like help my grandmother or my parents like change my brother.
Okay.
Um, and I would ask my at that like I would ask my mom and be like, "Oh, how come like he's got that and I don't?" And my mom would be like, "Oh, because he's a boy." And I'd be like, "Yeah, but when's mine gonna grow?"
Oh, okay. So that makes
You get it?
sense. Like
Like
you, yeah,
because
you
yeah,
anatomically asking too.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I was curious. I was like, "How come my body
yeah,
doesn't look like my brother's body?" And my mom was like, "Oh, because he's a boy, or he was assigned male at birth, right? He was."
yeah.
And I'd be like, "Oh, okay. When's mine gonna grow in?" Because I was like, "I'm older than him. I should have mine already." And like it was
So,
that innocent.
so you were sort. It was almost along the lines of you just thought that was what you should have had anyway, without
Yeah, I didn't
ever.
know any different. Like I didn't know that I was in. I didn't know that what I was feeling was missing parts. And like I'm not saying every trans person has this feeling. This is just my unique experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But it
that's
was definitely like, oh, I'm missing something. And then when puberty hit, I was like, I'm not supposed to have these things. This is horrible.
yeah.
Where's
Oh,
the
I bet.
knife? Yeah.
So did
Yeah.
were and I know this is only if you're comfortable sharing. I don't want to go into
Hmm.
parts of your life that you're uncomfortable sharing about. And please stop.
I'll let you
Don't
know if
hesitate
I'll
to,
let you
yeah,
know if I'm
don't
not
hesitate.
comfortable. It's okay.
Okay.
Ask
Okay.
freely.
And we'll absolutely shift areas
Yeah.
when we need to and where we need to
Yeah.
um is were you able to receive, and this will probably go into some of our questions later too as it influenced your life, is did you have parents who were supportive during
Mm.
this, or and family that was supportive, or were you on your own in a lot of ways?
No, I was completely on my own. In fact, like my father was very, very, very homophobic and transphobic. My mom, I mean, my family's Catholic, but my dad is a narcissist. And my mom, bless her heart, she like is like when you think of like Mother Teresa type of Catholic, like that's my mom, right? No
Hmm.
judgment for others. So like my mom has been always been supportive, but in a way that was like, what you're doing is going to make your life difficult, right? Like it's always had
Hmm.
that tinge of like fear, like that fear-based support,
Yeah.
which doesn't really feel supportive because it still makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. There's something wrong with me. I'm going to get in trouble for it instead of being where she's gotten better over the years. I think as I have done more therapy myself to be able to like have more constructive conversations with her instead of like just being angry all the time that no one protected me.
Hmm.
Um, And like I've been able to have that conversation with her and let her know that like I'm mad, like I'm upset you didn't protect me. And like for a long time, like I'd, given her the benefit, like she also was getting abused, and like, I always like forgave her without actually letting her know that she did
Yeah,
something that needed forgiveness.
yeah,
Which I think it's important to tell people like they've done something to you that you need to offer them forgiveness, but they also need to know that you've wronged them in order for you to like build a better relationship and a healthier future. Um,
yeah, I
My
totally agree.
grandparents always gave me a safe space. My mom's parents always,
Oh,
always
okay.
just let me be me. So like that was my safe haven with my grandma Luce, grandpa Tony for sure.
That's awesome. I'm glad
Yeah.
you had people that were safe space for you, were a place you could go and be yourself and be who you are. It sounds like your mom obviously is dealing with traumas of her own,
Yeah.
and because of those traumas, it impacted her ability to mother you. Um,
And she was super young. Like my mom got married at 19, had me at 20. So like I've always, always given my mom that grace because I think one of the many strengths of having ADHD and having autism is that we're really good at building puzzles and putting things together. So even at an early age, I always looked at my mom and I was just like, yeah, but how would I react? Like she's just a kid. And like looking back now, I could be like, at my age, my mom had a 16-year-old. And like, what the hell would I do with a 16-year-old right now? I could barely take care of myself.
so, in this, how much of an age gap was there with your dad between your mom?
3 years.
Oh, okay. So they were roughly the same ish age.
There's a lot that goes that
Okay.
with
We
them. Yeah,
won't,
yeah,
we
yeah,
probably won't
yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
down that rabbit
Yeah, we
hole.
don't have to go down that rabbit hole today.
Okay.
Some other day.
Okay. But I think
Yeah,
from what it sounds like is that to me is that influenced a lot of it too. Is your father probably grew up in an environment that taught him that women were lesser, because that tends to be where abuse stems from, is like just the belief that you're superior to others and then you just laud that over people.
yeah.
um
And you
and
hit the nail on the head because he learned
yeah,
that from. So um, we do have like dark history in my family, and uh, like my dad's dad was involved in not so good circles back in Portugal. Like he,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I am very much an Aaron
I get
Parnas.
where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so. Um, Yeah, like his mom was a narcissist. His dad was in the family, um, and he told me all the time that one of his biggest regrets was moving to the U.S. and not staying in the family back in Portugal. So like that's it, like he wanted to be
Oh, okay.
like he like I can't stand to watch He Who Shall Not Be Named, who is going through his own like what was me, but like that kind of behavior that like I did something wrong but everyone else needs to shut the fuck up about it, and like now you're wrong because I'm wrong, like that was my dad. So like I see through it so quickly. And um to bring that full circle, I know eventually, like this is going to be like one of your questions. So, do you want me to let you ask it, and then we can go into my dad?
Oh, sure. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
actually going to ask if you wanted to do this and then maybe use the first question as a way to talk about a positive male
yeah,
masculine
yeah.
influence
So
in your
let's do
life
that.
too. So we'll do
So
both.
let's
So
do
go
that.
into the story of your dad because I think
Yeah,
this is going to be really important too.
yeah. So like my dad, um, if you like amalgamate, uh, like Michael Cohen, Donald Trump, like just white supremacy in general, like amalgamate all that, like that's my dad. My dad knowing that I was queer, right? Like
Hmm.
it would see some like positive queer representation on TV and point to it and be like, "Oh, look at all those F slurs, they're gonna burn in hell," right?
Oh,
To me
jeez.
in the room, right? Um, as I'm like trying to grapple with who I am, my being, why my body doesn't match my mind.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a 12-year-old kid with newfound access to the internet. So, of course, I'm going to look up what different bodies look like because we had the Miracle of Life lesson in school, and I went to Catholic school, and all the assigned female at birth kids went into one room, and all the assigned male at birth kids went into another room. And we only learned about our specific body parts, but I was like, I already know what these body parts look like, and they don't feel right. So I want to know what the other ones look like at my age, right? And like the internet is horrible, especially like back. What was that like? '03, I think.
Oh,
'02,
yeah. The
'03.
early 2000s did not have guardrails on the internet.
No, they don't. And like my welcome to the world of like this is what your body would have looked like had you been born in the right one was swearing is okay on this show, right? Just
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
great. Uh, was my entry into the world of like this is what your body would have looked like in purity was hard dicks are good to find.com or hard men are good to find.com or like something stupid like that. Like all I put in was like, like naked boy or like something, like I'm so innocent, but
Yeah.
like that's what came up. Um, and then my dad actually later that night because like I don't know about clearing the fucking internet history,
Oh, yeah.
browser
You didn't
history.
know
I'm
how to
12.
clear your browser history and
Like what
stuff
the hell?
like
I was
that.
so innocent. Like I was like, I just want to go back to watching Degrassi. Like this was too much. There was like neon lights everywhere and like snakes came out. Like so. But then later that night, there was a lot of yelling. Um, there was, and then at first it was like yelling towards my mom because dad thought mom was looking at that, right? So that's cheating. Mom was like, that
Yeah.
wasn't me. So then I was called in. And as soon as I saw it was on the computer screen, the blood must have rushed to my face. So um, I got beat very badly. And then I wasn't spoken to for 8 months. I wasn't acknowledged at all. Like I could be in the
Like
same room,
while in the
like a
house.
ghost. While in the house, no one was allowed to speak to me. My father didn't speak to me. My grandmother lived with us. She didn't speak with me. My grandmother was also my abuser, so that was like that's a lot. Mom wasn't allowed to. Brother, no one was allowed to speak with me or like acknowledge that I existed. And that went on for 8 months. It only stopped after I wrote like a two-page letter.
How old were you at the time?
12. Yeah. Um, I like wrote a two-page letter to my parents apologizing, saying how like the devil made me do it, and like I know I'm gonna burn in hell. I prayed the rosary every night for years and years on end because I truly thought that I was like doomed to eternal hell. And it was like I was broken to the point where I wrote this letter both in English for my mother and I translated it into Portuguese for my father to read in his native tongue. Um, yeah.
I don't
Uh,
really have words for that.
yeah.
And I'm sorry. Like, I know I didn't participate and I have nothing to be sorry for. I am sorry for the young you and
Me
for all the
too.
trauma that you had to go through because of this bullshit. Like
Yeah.
that's
And like it still
that's
shows up
fucking
now.
awful.
It is awful, and it still shows up now because I think that part of that, like having been forced into silence and submission for all that time, in such a like profound time for a child to learn how to communicate and how to have healthy conversations and be able to like hold a thought in their head so they don't cut other people off, right? I didn't have any of that. So now like I get so excited when people want to talk to me that sometimes like I feel myself like blathering and sometimes talking over people, but I'm just like so excited. I feel like a puppy, right? And like sometimes like and I try and tell everyone, I'd be like, be patient with me. Like I get really excited, but feel free to like circle back on things or like cut me off, and I don't get upset because
Welcome, you have all the time in the world right now.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah,
That's the fun part about this is too is you do have all the time if you want to go long, we go long. Like I I I have no words on what your parents did to you because or your family did to you because it's unacceptable. Like I'm a I was a kid once. So I had parents and they didn't do that to me ever. Like in any way shape or form. Like and I have kids now too and I know other kids and I know other people who have kids. It's like kids are normal. They're all over the damn place. Like I've never once thought that that would be the right way to talk to my children or parent my children or have them express themselves. Like we've told our kids from very young age was straight, gay, lesbian, anywhere in between, we don't care as long as you're happy and it doesn't hurt you or somebody else. Like we don't care, just be happy. And
And
that's
that's the biggest thing you can do for a kid, especially a kid like trying to figure things out on their own, and
yeah, like
just
you
let
don't
them know
know.
that they're loved no matter what. Their parents love them. There are no qualifiers.
Yeah, like
Like
thank you,
just be
Kimmy, in
good.
the chat too. Like I there's no qualifier. Like, yeah, do I think my kids can be annoying sometimes and do they get on my nerves? Yes. Am I working on making sure that I am a good model of what it looks like to respond even when you're annoyed? Yeah, I have to be so that my son and my daughter understand what it looks like for an adult to talk to a child, for an adult to interact with a child, be it them or somebody else. Like you have to children are innocent and I say that because they are. They've never most things in life they've never experienced and they're experiencing it for the first time. And to sit for 8 fucking months without anyone acknowledging you while you're 12 years old is
Yeah.
so scarring and disabling. Like your preteen and teen years are so formative in your development process. Like, and just being at the start of puberty, like, or getting really into like the height of like young puberty for a kid, like your body chemistry is all fucked up anyway. And now you're just being ignored and basically
My,
being told you're
yeah,
worthless.
100%. And like that word worthless has been the cornerstone of all of my therapy because that is exactly it. I was broken to the point where I felt worthless, and to this day, I still feel worthless. It's something I struggle with every single day. Um,
I
Earlier
have
this
depression.
morning,
I
I
have
kind of
chronic
like,
depression, so I know, so I understand.
so you get it, right? And like, even like Nick and I were talking off camera a little earlier about me needing time this morning, and it was really like, I needed the time, but then like, Nick has built such a positive aura around him. Like it's not just, and I think that's like one of the more important things for us as men to do is to build these positive auras so that others feel safe coming to us and being like, "Hey, bro, like I overslept. I'm sorry. I've been having a really hard mental health time." And Nick was like, "Totally fine, dude. We can reschedule, right?" That's the
Mhm.
healthy like relationship that we need amongst people in general. And I know that like folks who are socialized female and live in female bodies need to have that sense of community all the time for safety, right? Go to the bathroom in pairs, right? There's
Yep.
safety in numbers, there's community there. Men don't have that same community because we're socialized, and but we're socialized to be strong, independent leaders, right?
Mhm.
So we don't see how it like I don't know if so many cis men understand how powerful it would be if when they're out with their trans male friends to be like, yo, I gotta use the restroom. Do you need to? Like that they feel safe going to pee, right? And like, just
Mhm.
think of the experience of a trans man needing to pee right now, right? Like, we need a stall. A lot of us need a stall, right? Whether it's because of the way our anatomy is set up right now, or for safety, because we don't want people looking at our bits, right?
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of cis men prefer to go into a stall over a urinal any day of the week,
Depends on how packed the urinals are and
right?
if they've
Like,
got the
I
walls
mean,
on them.
I wish I could use a urinal because it would be like, it would be so much quicker. Like,
It
I
is
put
a
off
handy
peeing.
feature.
I put off peeing. It's like a reward for me when I finally go, because I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I guess I'll like change my outfit. Like, uh, but it would be like so much more comforting for like trans men, especially early in transition,
Mhm.
to have like a dude like Nick be like, yeah, I gotta piss. You want to come with? Like, do you need to? Just as like we need bodyguards in the beginning until like we feel a little bit more secure in our body, and until like society decides that it's okay for us to take a piss and they don't have to write laws about it.
Yeah.
Because like we know where we need to go, we know where we want to go take a piss, and like
Yeah.
I'm
And
just gonna leave
and
it at that. Like,
and for me that's never been a concern. Like I've never feared going to the bathroom and
I
knowing
fear it all the
that
time.
there's
Yeah.
such an easy to be honest, I didn't even think about what you just said was a to be like a thing that could have such easy impact. Do that, dudes. Like, go ask your friends. Like, if I probably do it subconsciously because I know I've done that before just with friends. Um, but at the same time, like I was also in the army and we were trained battle buddies. You always go in
Mhm.
pairs, no matter what you're doing and where you go. So you always bring a friend with you. Um, and that's like a hugely simple thing that we could do and show that you're a safe person, like a big part
Mhm.
about all of this. And I really appreciate like the feedback. It brings me joy and it makes me feel really good to know that the what I'm doing is making an impact and is meaningful and is a space people want to come to. And I I can see that with the community that we've been building here, and it's so amazing. And I thank all of you who are in the chat and those of you who've had to leave. Sorry you had to leave. I know Kimmy, thanks for being here with us. You're awesome. I like calling out people in the or shouting out people from the chat
Mhm.
because you guys are amazing. You make this possible in this space safe for people to be in and talk about and discuss. And we've gotten like the vulnerability you are offering is I've noticed is like across the board for these conversations is we've been able to get into some really vulnerable topics from Chris Goldsmith to you to the abuses to the how he changed himself and grew out of and focused his anger and uses it and took therapy and grew and from your story from the abuses that you faced so far like from what we've talked about. Dude, I'm so fucking sorry. Like
Thanks,
it
dude.
fucking sucks, man.
I
Like
appreciate that.
what it's like that's such horseshit that you had to go through all of that. I wish everyone had my parents as their parents or someone similar because my experience growing up with I have a cousin who's lesbian and she was afraid to come out to my dad at one point. He was at one point my dad was considered would be considered conservative. I'll put
Mm.
air quotes around that. Um, he's not.
So like what we
Is
consider a Democrat today.
yeah, but he values humanity like
Oh,
on
okay, okay.
without question. Like he cares
Yeah,
about people.
yeah,
He looked at my cousin after she finally said something to him, and he was like, "Why did you wait?" She was like, I was afraid you were going to get mad. He was like, I loved you yesterday, didn't I? Why am I not going to love you today?
yeah,
And that was the model for me. Like, I didn't know there was a different approach than that. Like, that's the right model, men. Like, that's what you should be doing is when somebody comes out to you, you go, oh, thanks for trusting me. Thanks for telling me. It doesn't change a thing about you.
Exactly. Exactly. And like a lot of the fear I think too is like put on by the media and how like no one else and how I know for me a lot of the fear was like things I'd seen in the media and like people like
Mhm.
losing their careers if they came out or it being like some big deal, right? And like meanwhile
Well,
like
and we were pretty homophobic back in the
we were
90s
super
and early
homophobic.
2000s. Like, shit
Yeah,
was said that we would never say
super
nowadays.
homophobic. And like I remember like I marched for marriage equality in '08. Like like I was part of that. I can say I was part of that. Against my parents' will. They didn't want me going to those marches, but I'm like, I have to because these are my rights that I'm fighting for, and you guys don't fight for them, so I have to fight for myself. And that has like been the overarching theme I think for my life is like
Mhm.
I have to do these very difficult, traumatizing things because those around me refuse to.
Yeah.
And like if they would, with the privilege that they had, if they had stood up for me sooner, earlier, if more folks had stood up for the trans community sooner, earlier, with louder voices, with more love, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have had to flee.
That includes folks like me. And I'm not saying that to diminish myself or to beat up on myself. I'm saying that in just acknowledgement is that includes me. Like had I had a and I should have could have made a platform and I didn't sooner. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it
Yeah.
because I'm doing it now and I'm making sure that I stand firm on this because if you're going to let the trans people fall by the wayside, who else are you going to let go? Like, if you're going to let one person go, who else? What is when is enough? What is enough, or what is the wrong line to cross? Because apparently, who like personhood was the line that you were willing to cross,
Right.
and I'm not willing to do that. Like, I don't want to lose my friends, be trans, be straight, be anywhere in between, be gay, be anything. Like I don't give a shit. I
Hmm.
don't I don't care. I just want you to be happy. I just want people to have the same level of privilege that I do without the hate. Like I don't want people to be like the privilege. I want the privilege without the baggage. And that's sort
Right.
of why we're doing these conversation sets. Like that is the heart of intelligent masculinity is, and it also fits really well with the article that I had just put out right soon before this, where I talk about going on offense for intelligent masculinity and what that looks like. And I just want to read again what I closed out the Diogenes Club with, so to frame the rest of this conversation as I shift us into our actual question set, because I do want to ask the questions and get
Hmm.
all of the answers. Because my, of course, we do have my favorite part at the end, which is the "I'll make a man out of you" section. Um, but I want to frame our discussion a little bit here because we aren't passive any and masculinity. Those who are working to ensure that we get through this on the masculine side, we're actively putting in that work. This is for you guys. This is a statement of power. There is no future where intelligent masculinity wins by being passive. The men most vulnerable to fragile masculinity are not looking for theory. They're looking for practical orientation, a way to understand their power, their anger, their responsibility, and their place in the world. If we fail to offer men and boys a disciplined, ethical, assertive model of masculinity, someone else will offer them a dangerous one. This is the
Hmm.
shift from explanation to assertion, reaction to initiative, dominance to stewardship, and go from defense to on offense. Intelligent masculinity does not ask for permission to exist. It shows up, sets standards, and lives with the consequences. And you know what? That is strength. And so we're going to frame our entire discussion, the rest of this discussion around that strength is we're not passive for what masculinity is. And masculinity takes many, many forms and many shapes and is of all different sizes. And that's really important because masculinity is not a set of rigid, strict standards that you have to follow relentlessly, because that's what the authoritarians do. Jack's masculinity is not the same as mine. We have similarities in our
Mhm.
masculinities, but his is not the same as mine. Just like Marlon Weems was not the same as mine, or Bobby Jones, or Qasim Rashid, or Lawrence Winterman, or Sherrod Sweeney, or any of my other guests and friends, like Shane Urick and all of my other friends. We're all different. That's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes this so fun is we have very different experiences, yet we all fall within a discipline that we continue to follow and that we model for others. And I want Jackson's opinion on all of this because you have a really unique opinion. Being a trans person, being a trans man, you have a very unique opinion on this that many of us could never share. You have learned from the feminine as a child, um, and you were forced towards the feminine as a child, yet you persevered and you've made it through, and you are not worthless. You're worth
Thank you.
something just for being my man, just for being here,
Thank you.
dude.
Thank you.
And I
I'm
want
trying to
your
go through my
opinion.
Phoenix era.
Hey, brother, you got this.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sizzling in the coals still. I'm waiting to fly up, but I'll get there.
hey, you're
Yeah,
growing those wings. They're
yeah,
spouting. You're getting free.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I want to get your thoughts on these questions. And so, everyone, welcome again to Intelligent Masculinity with Nick Perro, not your dad, and my friend Jack. And here we go. All right, brother. You've talked a lot about your dad. And this is where this is going to be cool because we haven't had
Mhm,
this part of it yet. Is you're going to get to be able to talk about both purpose. Well, some people have, but you get to do it really purposefully. Is the first question is who has been one of the most influential masculine figures in your life and why? And for this one, I'd love to know from a positive aspect
mhm.
because we've already heard the negative side.
So, from a, a positive standpoint, one of the most influential men, honestly, would probably be Mr. Rogers and Bob Ross. If I'm going to be completely honest, Mr. Rogers and Bob Ross for sure. Um, because I didn't have any other healthy models as a child. So, like, I know that when I was
So you grew
talking
up
to
on
my therapist,
PBS,
like,
a lot of like
yeah,
PBS shows.
yeah, I grew up on we had a pirate box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We were one of the, yeah. So I got a lot of stuff that maybe I shouldn't have gotten. I got some stuff that I did get, but Mr. Rogers was definitely he was the one that my mom's parents would put on for me. Like they would always put on Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street because at the same time that I was learning English, my grandparents were learning English.
Oh,
Um,
so and
yeah,
children's shows really help to
yeah,
teach a language. Yeah.
for sure. So it was a lot of like Mr. Rogers. A lot. Barney taught me English. So Barney actually was a positive male role model, for what it's worth,
Yeah,
for me.
for I
Yeah.
watched Barney
Barney.
growing up too.
Yeah. So like those were my positives. There weren't even like actual like real men in my life. But I sought them out because I knew that like what I was experiencing was abnormal, and
Yeah.
like I think at least as a child I was wired to like search for the sunlight. So like it was very dark at home, so I'd
Mhm.
like go looking for sunlight, and that was like Mr. Rogers, Barney, the Blue Power Ranger. The Power Rangers were definitely
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
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 Billy, I get it. I see. I watched the Power Rangers too.
yeah,
I have the VHS of the original Ooze movie, like the Oz movie for it, like
yeah.
where that was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
I love me some Power Rangers.
The reason I wear glasses is because of the blue parrot. Like I wanted to be him so bad that I would watch it this close to the TV to ruin my eyesight, and it worked. I ruined it.
just so you could
It
wear
was probably
glasses.
my mom has crap eyes. It was probably would have happened anyway. But like, yes,
Hey, yeah, but you can make
and
sure you
Billy.
believe it that way. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
so I love that you answered that way. And about Mr. Rogers specifically, because he is such a powerful role model and example, especially from
Hmm.
our childhood. Growing up at the same time, we would have seen all the same shows and learned these lessons. And we
Yeah,
share that as I grew up with Mr.
yeah.
Rogers and Sesame Street and Barney. And like I look back and see shows like Wishbone and Reading Rainbow as
Hmm.
hugely important shows in my
Yeah.
life because they taught me the power of reading and the power of imagination and the beauty that you can find in these stories. And it didn't matter who the story was about. If it was a good story, it was a good story.
Hmm.
Um, and that's really awesome. I also went to school in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
I'm
I've
jealous.
been to the recording studio where he recorded his shows. I met um, while I was in college. I met like a local rap artist who was doing something around this. I think around Mr. Rogers because he's celebrated in Pittsburgh, like really, really, like still to this day.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it was so fun to just get to see the studio where and none of the stuff obviously that he used was there, but it was cool to see the studio that he was in. Um, and so what were some of the things that you took away from Mr. Rogers, like, and those types of shows? Like what are the biggest things that stuck with you?
I think definitely empathy. Empathy was the biggest thing. Um, how your actions affect others both positively and negatively, and how you add more negative experiences to others if you're not conscious of what you're doing, what you're saying. Um, so empathy and just equity. Um, so not equality, equity.
Hmm.
Everyone does not need everything, but everyone does need something, may need something to be on equal playing fields, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm only 5 feet tall. Someone who is taller than I am does not need to be at the front of a concert venue, right? I do because I can't see through someone's body, but they can
Yeah.
see over my head,
Yeah.
right? But a lot of folks don't navigate the world that way, and it makes it very difficult for the rest of us that maybe have disabilities or need accommodations to have to constantly be like, "Give me this accommodation." I'm like, I'm a short dude. Maybe just don't stand in front of me. That's a common sense accommodation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like instead of having to regulate
yeah,
accommodations is
yeah,
maybe have some decency and common sense and look outside
yeah.
of yourself.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
those
See
are
how
good
your
lessons.
actions affect others.
Yeah, those are good lessons. Like I'm glad you distinguish between equity and equality. That's something I do, and I I believe we all should have equality in terms of equal
Hmm.
access to things. We should all
Correct.
be able to equally access and have equal access and freedoms under the law. Nobody should be
Hmm.
hampered. We should have equity that allows us to access the equality, to
Correct.
actually achieve the equality. I used the other day the example of a wheelchair ramp at a building. Like just because a disabled, and I know that's the common trope of using wheelchairs as for disabilities, and that's not the only type of disability there is. It's a very visible one though in terms of what we see around us for equity and equitable solutions is wheelchair ramps exist, which also allow able-bodied people when they're hurt too to have
Hmm.
equitable access to get into the same building that they were supposed to be in without the injury. And that's what equity offers.
And I'll add to that, Nick, too, because I do want the community at large to understand that when a marginalized group fights for equity so that they can reach that equality, it does not only benefit the marginalized group. Most of the time, we're not only thinking about ourselves, right? Folks who need a ramp are because they're on something with wheels or they have mobility issues, right? Who else usually has something with like someone something on wheels or some mobility issues? I don't know, maybe parents with kids and strollers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now, because this disabled community took it upon themselves to fight for this, right? Now this extends to anyone who needs to be like pushing things through, right? Or pushing the stroller. I have a crap back. There are so many days where I cannot lift my leg to make
Mm-hmm.
a step. And then on the flip side too, I do want the community to kind of like destigmatize seeing people that look like they're able-bodied using ramps and being like, "Oh, you better be careful or else you're gonna wind up disabled yourself." Like I've heard that from people, and I'd be like, I have had 10 plus years of lifting 400-pound patients with my back on my back. It is
Mm-hmm.
messed up. Not only that, but I carry the trauma of everything that's happened in my life in my body because they are not
Yeah.
separate things, right? My mind lives in
Mm-hmm.
my body. Um, so yeah, I get to use a ramp now and make things easy. So everyone, please go out, use your ramps. Be happy that they're there. Be happy little cutouts on the curbs are there so that your kids aren't tripping when you cross the street,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
that folks have an easier time moving through the world.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really important point, is it's not looking just at themselves or ourselves. It's we are people who have a disability and not disabilities who have a person. And because we look at it as, my mom said that the other day on one of my show, on my chronically illing out show, and that distinction is really important because that is the charge towards equity. Is I'm not a disability, but I know that this disables me in this way, and
Mhm.
because it disables me, it may other disable others, and at large, it can improve your life when you have access to things and more equitable solutions. Because at some point, you may also need it too. You may
Yep.
need that equity, and you don't even know. You don't even think about it because all you can think is, I'm healthy right now,
Huh.
or I am this way right now. Well, you're not going to be tomorrow or the
We're
year
all gonna
after.
get old.
Yeah,
Hopefully, hopefully we all make
hopefully.
it to old age.
Hopefully, I'd love to make it to old
Yeah.
age. I want to be wheeling around with
Yeah.
my walker and just yelling at kids, get off my lawn, and
I mean,
whatever
could you
nonsense.
imagine the parties in the senior centers with like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney
Oh my
Spears and Madonna
God.
and Cher and like all that, like
It's
those
going
fun
to be
like 90
great.
remixes?
And
It's gonna
like
be
Chubba
lit.
Wubba
We all
and
remember the clubs.
Flagpole Sitta, and like it's going to be a rave, but
We
like,
remember club in our early 20, in our late teens and early 20s. Like it's gonna be a fun time. We just
yeah,
gotta
we're
get there.
good. It's going to be craft beers and
Yeah.
rave with
Yeah.
like avocado toast on the side, apparently, because we all eat avocado toast.
Yeah.
It is really good if you put
I do eat avocados.
everything bagel seasoning on
Yep.
the top. My wife showed me that, and I was like,
My
fan.
husband showed me that trick
Just a
too.
little bit of salt, a little bit of saltiness in there, and that crunch, delicious. We are so off topic.
Yep.
We could get so lost in all of this. All right, next question for you before we get too far off topic. Who has been the most influential feminine figure in your life, and why?
So that would be my grandma Luge. Uh, it's a twofer. So my grandma Luge and her sister, my great aunt Rosa, God rest her soul. Um, the two of them showed me what it was like to be fiercely feminine, and I still channel that to this day for sure. Is like that. Like I think every man needs to also be fiercely feminine, especially in this moment right now. Um, like don't take any shit. You know what's right. Stick to your guns, right? seek justice for all, clothe clothe the cold, feed the hungry, give water to the thirsty, right? You're no better than anyone else. We're all people. Like those lessons were all from my grandma and uh, my Aunt Rosa. And they also told me how to be mischievous and be whimsical and how to like play pranks that don't hurt people but are just silly, right?
Mhm.
Where like I learned how to like prank, but like the pranks my dad would play always like hurt people's feelings. And I didn't want to be like that. So like I learned how to like be silly and like hide a little toy snake in the plant soil, right? And like wait for someone to go water it and like little harmless things like that instead of
Yeah,
yeah. So that
that's
was that I think that hide a fake snake was a lesson from my great grandma, which was their mother.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Hey, you gotta hide a fake snake here and there. So,
you got it.
putting like a fake rat on like top of a bag of chicken or something
Oh, yeah.
because it sort of blends in and then it jumps out at you when you pull the chicken out. Those are fun.
My brother and I loved the like fake poops that like Spencer
I
sells,
would
like the
so
fake pile of poo. We
do
would
you
just like leave them
remember
randomly.
thinking about that stupidity? Do you remember a time, I don't even know if this site's off the internet, is we would have both been in college years, was when you could order a box of cat poop in the
Hmm.
mail and send it to somebody.
Hmm.
Like
Our generation
whimsical.
came up with mischievous things. There was also, do you remember, there was one website that you could order just like a box of glitter,
Oh,
like loose glitter, and
yes.
like mail it to someone.
Yes.
Yeah,
Somebody I distinctly remember that happening in my lifetime as a kid. I don't remember, it wasn't to me, but I do remember somebody doing that. Like we did some weird shit. Like
I
we
might
were
start
the
doing it
wild
again.
west. We were the wild west of kids.
I think I might
And
start
so
mailing glitter.
glitter bombs are fun. Mail them.
Yeah,
Yeah, just glitter
yeah,
box. I mean,
yeah.
you could mail, it's not illegal in any way to mail a box or even an envelope full of glitter to
It's a gift.
to your representative or
You're
senator
celebrating.
in
It's so much
Congress
fun. Yeah,
with something like a big picture of a middle finger that comes out, that pops out when they open the
it's
letter
a
or something
gift
like that.
for
It's a
sure.
gift. It's joy.
Yeah.
Bring joy to their day with a glitter explosion and make sure it's someone you know who would not enjoy glitter publicly, but probably does privately.
I mean, all of the GOP.
Yeah,
There's a
pretty
reason why the
much.
grinder servers crash when they get in town.
Pretty much. Okay, I want to ask this question of you. This is not one of the intelligent masculinity questions. I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of Josh Hawley kissing his wife, where it's like this, like they're fully separate. It's like the peckiest of peck kisses. Like,
They're leaving room for the Holy Spirit. Yeah,
okay, I was gonna ask,
yeah.
what are your thoughts
Hmm.
on like that type of masculinity that is being displayed right there?
Do you know what a beard is? Not the ones that you and I have on our face.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So for those that don't, a beard is something men wear, typically on their arm, in order to make them look masked. And by thing, it's very pejorative. I'm so sorry that I used that term, but in their minds, it's a woman, right? So if they marry a woman and pretend to be straight, then they're no longer. And then this goes back to the societal thing where a lot of these, this has been going on forever and ever and ever throughout all of time. But it's usually men who like were super homophobic in high school and then had an awakening in college and they were like, uh-oh. Or they've always had their awakening, right? But they need to hide it.
Yeah.
So the best way to hide it is to get married, which is very unfair to these poor women. But like lavender marriages are a thing, and if people were just like true to themselves, they could, if they felt that they needed to, could instead enter a consensual lavender marriage where, queer people get together like that, they reap the benefits of
Yeah.
society, but they also, people are allowed to have any sort of marriage that they want to.
Yeah. Like
People are
who's
given
for
free
me to
will.
say? Yeah,
Yeah,
who's for me to say that
yeah,
that's not or
right.
is a valid type of marriage?
Exactly. And you know what? Some folks get married just for companionship, right? They don't want to be alone, but they don't have sexual desires with each other, and that's fine.
Hmm.
But if we're gonna tie rights and benefits to a contract like marriage, right? Like if certain people don't have to pay as much or pay more depending on like their marriage status, or like can someone have access to health care or not?
Hmm.
When we start tying these like ways of accessing and maintaining the base level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, when there are like qualifiers to that, then
Yeah.
people need to get creative, right, and survive. And it's what we've done throughout all of humanity.
And
Uh, but
we
to
out
circle back to that kiss, I think, yeah, I think that poor lady. But also, girl, get out, leave his ass. The fuck, like,
you can do better. You can do
yeah,
so much better than him. And it's not your fault you're in this situation. You
no,
were
not your
probably
fault at
groomed and
all. But girl,
indoctrinated
get out. I'm
into it.
telling you, it's okay.
Yeah, get out. Go find some man that actually loves you or a woman that loves you because you need something in your life that ain't him. Like, don't
Yeah,
turn into what has happened to Usha Vance, where she just looks miserable. Like she looks abused. Her
yeah.
the masculinity in her life is the most abusive type of masculinity there is,
Well,
through JD Vance.
that was yeah, that was my dad. So like, and like, I feel for Usha. Like Usha's in a spot that like my mom was in, but also like, I want to let Usha know the same way that I wish like I couldn't have because I was her child. I couldn't tell my mom, but I
Mhm.
want to let Usha know she can leave. He's not the end of the world. There is more to the world than
Yeah,
this small little segment
yeah,
that she's living through. And if she loves herself and she loves her kids, get the fuck out.
yeah,
And I
exactly.
wish someone would have told my mom that instead of telling my mom that it's better for kids to have two parents, because it's not better for kids to have two parents. It's
It's
better for kids
not
not to be
sometimes.
abused.
Yeah. And sometimes when you leave each other, if you're not in quite as an abusive situation, say as Jack's family was when you were a kid, is sometimes you find friendship in the other person outside of a physical relationship, and that's healthier for your kids too. Like
Yeah.
being a whole ass person is more important to your kids than faking a marriage because that shows them what a broken marriage looks like, and that's a
Hmm.
really bad example. You don't want that. Like, uh, I'm again, I'm so glad I did not have to go through any of these experiences you did. Like, fuck. Okay, so with that, with those in mind, like with this idea and what we've seen and how your experiences look and tie in ways to say very present corollaries with say JD Vance and Usha Vance is on the opposite end of from that fragile broken masked masculinity is what does intelligent masculinity mean to you?
To me, intelligent masculinity is defending humanity at all costs, defending my own humanity, defending the humanity of others, just as a blanket statement. That to me is masculinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
If defending humanity causes me stress, I take on that stress because the most important thing for me is to defend that humanity. And I'll process my stress on my own because if I am still able to fight for someone else's humanity, that means that I'm sitting in a position of privilege. Once I can no longer fight, it's because I'm the victim, right? I will keep fighting until the blade is turned on me and is going through me, right? But then again, like I look around to other men who did not have to go through what I went through, and they they tell me how, they start opining to me about how things are difficult, and I'm like, yeah, they are. They have been. When are you going to help? And that's where I've been now for a good long while. All of last year, I was shedding this. I got assaulted twice last year while on the job. Was told to keep going. Right. Uh, I got battered. Apparently now people understand it better. Like when it's assault and battery. Assault's just words. Battery is like physical. So like I got battered too. So like I've been through shit because I refuse to not defend humanity. I've been beaten for it. And I need more men, especially men that are not only 5 feet tall, not only 120 pounds, who had to learn self-defense because I was not socialized to play fight, right? Like these are all things that like I think a lot of men take for granted that are just come naturally to them because of the way that they were socialized, right?
Yeah.
That they should use their power. They should channel whatever we call like toxic male arrogance, right? Well, no, fuck it, bro. Be arrogant when it comes to defending humanity. Like, get in on it. Like, it's okay. Like, if people want to call you toxic, fucking fine, whatever. Who cares? As long as you know what you're doing is for the betterment of every person, not just all men, not just all women, not just children, like every breathing being. Like, as soon as, like, there are no other qualifiers. Like, are you a breathing being? Then you deserve my fight to make your life better because your life being better is going to make my life better. If everyone is housed, my life is
Everyone is
better,
housed. Yeah.
right?
And everyone
Because that
has a
means
house.
I'm
Like,
also
that's
housed,
good.
right?
That's
If
good, right?
everyone is fed, my life is better because that means I'm also fed.
Yeah.
Feeding others does not take food off my plate.
No, it encourages growth for more food so that you have more on your plate because
Yeah,
a rising tide lifts all boats. It's like I was also always taught was that the if you take care of the standard of living will increase for everyone just if you take care of the poorest among us because then everyone else will want the things that those other people have because they are getting assistance. They'll want it too. And then society will just get better because of it. We take care of those among us who are in the most need before we take care of those who don't need anything.
exactly. Yeah, those that already have need to like look around, and I think all of us should really look around at everything we do have. I think we've been conditioned into this rat race to always be chasing for more. That we lose track of time and we don't sit with what we have and enjoy and reap the fruits of our labor for what we currently have because we're chasing something else. Like,
Yeah.
how many books do we all have that we haven't read yet, but we bought them because we want to read them, but it's the next thing? And instead of just like slowing down, appreciate what you have now, read the book, learn the knowledge, move to the next thing. It's okay. The books aren't going anywhere. They're not running away from us. But there's a lot of this like thing like I need this, I need, instead of being like, no, 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 like you have. It's okay. You have. Others don't. They need, but we have. And that's been after selling all our stuff, like keeping just bare minimums, just having what we need. And I know you did some RV living too,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you can like you
Yeah.
get this where it's like when you have just what you need, you realize how much you truly have, and that you don't need as much as you
Yeah. You
think you
don't
do.
need a lot.
No.
There's very like an RV isn't a ton of space. And we had four people in ours. We had my wife, myself, and our two kids, and a dog, and we made
Yeah.
it work. We never overstuffed our RV because it wasn't about stuff. It was presence over
Mm-hmm.
presence,
Mm-hmm.
and we got to experience things with each other. And I'm glad that your definition of masculinity fits square in with the thesis I have around it, which is that we don't outsource accountability, and we live with the consequences of our actions and values, and we're willing to live with those, whether they be good or bad or neutral consequences. We live with them. We make choices, and we're willing to live with those choices, and we stand by them. And we're not standing by them idly. Is, I think, really where, Jack, you are getting into this. Is it's an important point across the board, is you cannot stand by idly, or these values will get trampled, because
Hmm.
standards and values do not enforce themselves. They're not self-enforcing mechanisms. We enforce them. We enforce them on ourselves, and we enforce them on others. We create that social contract.
And I'd like to see too. It we also have to like for us to try and shift from a mindset of not only enforcing these
Hmm.
uh, but we have to uphold them. And I think sometimes it's easier for folks to and Nick, you do a great job of upholding these values. It's easier for folks to not feel like they're getting yelled at for being like bad men, like bad man, you're toxic, right? Like if we're just like be nice, like treat women with respect, like such terrible things we're asking for. Um, but by us like doing it every day and like
Hmm.
uplifting that, right, upholding that standard, others will follow, right? It's if you build it, they will come.
Yes.
If you exemplify it, others will react and act accordingly, right? Like you have to
Great
just
movie
be it.
reference too.
Yep. So like we have to build things for the masses to come, for the young men to find. And I don't mean everybody needs a show like the ones Nick's putting on. Nick is teaching us the song, right? We have to go out into the world and sing it. We're all part of the choir, right? We're part of this choir at Sick of This Shit publication. We're talking about intelligent masculinity. We're learning the songs. We're learning the notes, right? We have to go out into the world now and sing, right? And show this, right? Let other people hear the song because you're probably gonna meet someone out in the wild that's like, hey, I know that tune, and you'll find a friend, right? And then you all can continue to spread this message of empathy, equity, joy, right? Whimsy. And we can start
Creativity,
squashing this.
fun.
Exactly. And we can start squashing this bug of like this false illusion of a loneliness epidemic, this false illusion of like all of these terrible things that are happening to boys in the world. No, just please, like, Nick is a great dad who like cares for his kids and other people's kids when they come to the house. So he is an example of a positive man, right? I am silly and play with like which I don't have kids of my own. I have nieces, I have nephews, I have cousins. Like I'm everyone's favorite cousin. I'm everyone's favorite uncle, right? I've been a swim instructor throughout my lifetime. I'm a nurse. Was a pediatric nurse. So like I love kids and I love showing kids what what it can look like to be a man who's not a scary man. Because I try my best to not be a scary, intimidating looking man ever. Because I don't want children to be afraid of me. Not for no other reason than I don't want them to feel fear.
Yeah.
There is no like there's nothing else past that other than I don't want to inflict fear on others. And I
And
think as soon as we start having these thoughts with ourselves as men, we could be like, well, what actions am I taking?
and kids are a really good example of that. The way what you just talked about like fear from kids, or like safety around kids, is kids know more than we let them, or we believe that they do. We falsely believe that kids are dumb. Kids are super smart, and they pick up on a lot of things. And instinctively, really small children are really good at identifying who to and not to go to. So if you're a person that kids are excited to come to and are excited to be around because you're safe just being there, like just existing in their presence, you make them feel safe. Go out and make sure you do more of that. Like purposely go out and show that off. It's okay to show off your masculinity right now. And that's, in fact, that's what I'm asking. That's what Jack is asking for
Yeah.
others to do is go show off your masculinity. Be proud of it. You're
Yeah.
not you're not a bad person for going out and exemplifying masculinity. In fact, you're the thing that we need right now because I want more friends who are like me. And I'm not trying to brag on that. I'm just saying I want more friends where kids can come into the house and they feel welcome and safe. Like,
And dude, that's been like the biggest thing, and that's what I wanted. And like so much, it's so hard for millennial men to find each other because we were like bullied into being called, either the F slur or whatever for like being sensitive and having empathy
mm-hmm,
while we were in high school, right? Like it was not
yeah,
cool to be us in high school because we cared too much. Although, like, not for nothing, but like I had girls that were friends. Again, I didn't have girlfriends. I wasn't dating in high school, but I had so many girls that were friends in high school
mm-hmm,
because I was a safe person, and continue to have like most of my really close friendships have been with female presenting folk because it's been hard for us to find each other. And I'm happy you started your show, Nick, because we've all married into uh, or like are part of usually like a matriarchal community
mm-hmm,
because that's where we felt safe and comfortable as well because other men around us bullied us for loving women too hard, right?
yeah,
For like actually loving them like human. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Treating them like they were just a person.
right. So they like through and like we've been siloed into specific communities. So like I was siloed into the LGBTQIA plus community, right? You were siloed into the military industrial complex community, right? Like all the like vets, family of vets, like that's a silo. That's a
Mm-hmm,
big
it is.
community. Yeah. There are others that are siloed into like the BIPOC community. Um,
I was then
but then
siloed into the tech community too. Like,
siloed into, yep, I was siloed into the healthcare community, right? So we're all siloed into these different things, but and then we lose the opportunity to talk to each other and truly see the like intersectionality of
mhm,
all of these silos. Like all of these silos just come down to like shame and grief. Like we were like shamed into like made to feel ashamed of who we are because of a minority status, and we're collectively grieving together because of that. Um, and that's such a sad way to live. And I'm so happy to be part of like building communities where instead it is no silo. It is an open invitation for people to come and experience joy.
yeah,
And I think like
yeah.
that's a big shift.
It's a manosphere that doesn't suck, but it's also purpose. Like on the show wise, it's a manosphere that doesn't suck. In practice and like real life, it's friendships. It's
Yeah,
like it's being able to talk to your guy friends, being as shared Swaney said, having a group of male friends that you can cry around is super important
yeah,
because those men understand that emotions are okay and that they're safe to express those emotions around. And most of those men probably had a lot of female friends growing up or female presenting friends growing up.
yeah,
Pretty much all of my friends through high school on the like majority wise were female. Like I college same, like I hung out with
yeah.
female presenting folks more often because I just guess I was safe to be around. I was
And dude,
toxic at times, and but I was also shut down and told no, and I respected it, and I think that made a big difference compared to some other folks.
so I have a question. It
Hmm.
just popped in. So
Yeah.
our generation, and I can only speak for the millennial generation, but I know that a lot of the stuff that we did in school, we were separated like boys on one side, girls on the other. Do you and
Some I can see that in like elementary school.
yeah, and do you think I can see how that would lend itself to be able to completely cripple the boys from like learning empathy
Yes. Yes.
in those early stages? Because like the girls were always socialized for it, right? Because like that's
Mhm.
just the way society was for us during that time period, as girls were reared to be the homemaker and like the comforter, right? And the boys are the warrior. I don't know why we're still living in this way when we're all human, but nevertheless,
Apparently,
um,
we're still hunter gatherers, which, by the
apparently,
way, most of the
apparently.
hunters were female, the gatherers were men.
That's why like I'm so confused because they don't know history. Like I don't understand where they're trying to go with this because the lionesses hunt and the men sit around like lazy fucks on the rocks. Like the
Yeah.
lions just like sit around protecting the land. And the women
Mhm.
were like, okay, I guess, even though there's
I
land
guess we'll
everywhere,
go. You're not going to
I
get any
guess we'll go
food.
do
We'll
all the
do it
work
for
and
you.
feed you.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
pretty much. Yeah,
So
no.
like,
So, to answer part of your question,
mhm,
sorry to cut you off there. To answer
okay,
part of your question is yes, I think it was intentional to stunt growth because if I look back on it, you look at the groups when they did things like that, the policing of behavior wasn't the same. Boys were all Groups of boys were always rowdier and were always allowed to get away with more physical acts with each other. Whereas the female presenting groups, the girls at the time, when we were kids, boys versus girls, was the girls were always set to a much different standard.
higher
And
one
yes, often higher. Not when I, because when we were growing up, it was
with emotional
right.
regulation, a higher
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah. In terms of like educational standards, like there wasn't a push in any gendered direction when we were younger, in terms of
Mhm.
like, for me anyways, I didn't recognize it or see it, because I mean I took home ec in middle school and I still have a sewn guinea pig that I made. His name is Poop. Yes, I named him that when I was a kid. He is a
I love
brown
that.
guinea pig that looks like a piece of poop, and he's in my closet. But I learned to do those same skills alongside other boys and girls, and we had boys and girls and everyone in our wood shop, and we equally learned like those types of skills. So I think I had a really good experience on education where it wasn't purposely separated, in many of those ways. But I think as a young kid, that was the most prevalent, was like boys, like recess, girls never got in trouble. And it wasn't because they weren't misbehaving, they just did it more quietly and less explosively because we were, as boys, allowed to get away with some of the more explosive behaviors until it got out of hand and then you got in trouble. But there was like, that was really the biggest difference, was like seeing like the looking back on that. So yeah, I think that is very purposeful. It's very Protestant too. Um,
Hmm.
and it's like purity. It's like a purity
It
culture
is a
thing.
it is 100% a purity culture thing because then what the girls do, I could tell you what the girls do on the girl side is like there's a
Yeah.
queen bee.
Inside.
Zupel said it. Yeah, Zupel said it. There's a queen bee on the girl side who decides like which one in the group is just gonna get. So the boys will like fight each other with their fists, and the girls will fight each other with their words,
Hmm.
right?
And they
By the time
and
girls are fighting, like you're done because they've already been fighting for months
yeah,
with each other this way.
you
Um,
know the boys groups are were always interesting when some of us fought with words and didn't
yeah,
fight with fists.
yeah,
The others didn't understand how to respond to that.
yeah, and that was the best, and that's how like rap battle started, and that's like the coolest thing in the world. Um, but like I know, I could speak for me. Uh, they were vicious, especially like in Catholic private schools,
Hmm.
and like I'm so glad that the internet was not a thing when I was in school, because for sure I would not be here. Like that's how bad I was bullied. Like my only saving grace was like the time between being in school and being at home. If I could still be reached during those like 10 minutes, I don't know what I'd do. Because at least I had my tiny little brain
Hmm.
had a 10-minute break from the bullying. Right?
I don't think
But now
people
these,
understand how important that is, like those
yeah.
breaks.
And I don't think people understand how much kids are going through right now, especially trans kids, where they get bullied at school, they get bullied at home, right? But they get bullied 24/7 by their government, online, by others that they don't know, right? What do you think these
Hmm.
kids feel when they hear people like these like sick, wrinkly old men talking about whether or not they're allowed to go to pee in public? Like if they're at a like I have to like there are certain states that if I go to that state, I have to make sure I pee before I leave the house, right? Don't drink too much while I'm
Arkansas
out.
is one of them.
Yeah. I just like and like I don't visit anymore. Like I don't visit anymore.
Yeah.
And like the company I was working for was gonna hold conferences in Nashville. And I'm like, why are we going to Tennessee? We know I'm not safe there. I can't go.
Mm.
I'm the co-chair of your Pride Employee Resource Council, and this is what you're doing? Absolutely not. But it's all performative.
Yeah.
Corporations do not care. Like businesses do not care. Unless it directly affects the child of the CEO or a child of someone in the C-suite, they don't care.
Yeah.
So we just need to stop working for them and work for each other and bring our skills that we have, right? Like they
Yeah.
can't repossess all our homes. Talk to folks who live in the Appalachian, right? They'll tell you how they made it through.
Hmm.
Like we just all have to stop being so scared. I think
Yeah.
it's okay.
We have to, we can't live in fear of what they tell us they're going to do to us. We just
There's
have
more
to
of
live.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just
just
have
live
to
your
live.
life.
And
If they
eventually
come
we're
in
going to
and say
break
they're
through.
gonna, yeah, yeah,
If they come at my door, well, I'm me and I'm not going to like, they ain't coming for me. Not yet.
no.
But they
And the
are
thing is,
coming
if
for
you see
people I
them,
know, and it
yeah,
even if I didn't know them, like even if I never knew Jack, I would still be out here talking about all this because
yep. And that's the
Jack's a
energy we
person.
need. And that's the energy we need. And that's the biggest. And thank you again so much, Nick, for having me on. Because, and I'm sorry if I cut you off, but
No, you're
I
fine.
I want folks to see what trans people look like and realize. And I don't want anyone to ever compliment a trans person by saying, "Oh, I had no idea you don't look trans." Because to me, all I'm hearing is like, why? Like I don't look human. Like I just don't look like myself. Like what's it matter? I don't look like a cup of coffee. I'm a cup of coffee. Nick's a cup of coffee. I'm
I'm
decaf,
a whole ass
and
pot of coffee.
yeah, exactly, right? Like we're all just cups of coffee, right? Some of us are decaf, and others aren't, and that's okay. But we're all cups of coffee. Some of us take a little more milk in our coffee. Some like it black, right? It doesn't matter. We're all cups of coffee.
I love
And
that.
I need everyone to just please keep standing up for the right to drink coffee. Like, coffee is delicious, right? We have to stand up for every cup of coffee. It doesn't matter if it's yours, if it's not, because if it's not yours today, and you're not fighting for it, eventually you're not going to have access to it at all. And
Mhm.
eventually we're all going to lose access to our own humanity because we allow humanity to be taken from others.
So, getting back to our questions, because this
Yeah.
fits really, really well into it, is you've talked a lot about some of the ways that you do model it, but I want maybe some specific examples. Is how do you intentionally model intelligent masculinity or just masculinity as you describe it in your own life, especially with all of these things that are going on and with with the threats that you face just for existing?
So, um, I feel like I've only recently started modeling masculinity in a positive way because I am um, more vocal about the injustices that I see in the world. Um, if if you could read back that question to me, I felt the pain in my knee and it completely went away.
You're totally fine, man. How do you model intelligent masculinity in your own life?
Uh, I try and be as transparent and honest um, in my life at all times. Um, that doesn't mean I'm reckless with my words or actions. It just means that I take time to self reflect so that I know the ground that I stand on is solid. And I know that the lines that I draw are firm and I can hold my boundaries. So I do not accept any forms of misogyny. I don't accept any forms of homophobia or transphobia. As soon as I hear it, I tell the person respectfully, I can no longer have a conversation with someone that does not value my humanity, and I leave. And if they want to come back and be like, oh no, I didn't mean it that way, this and that, I'd be like, again, I am not going to have a conversation with someone that does not value my humanity. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask to like clarify these false illusions you have in your head, great. If not, I hope you have a great day and I leave. Um, and I think that is one of the most masculine things you can do is to set a boundary and hold it firm, especially if that boundary is um, civil liberties and civil rights. Like that's my boundary. As soon as you cross that, I'm done.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
And we were talking about this before, at least a little bit before the show. I think it was that we were talking about like what it feels like is a lot of these men or these folks who claim to be men and charade as masculinity have never had somebody say no to them or don't currently, like the toxic manosphere men like Andrew Tate and that group. They don't have somebody in their life who ever says no to them and means it. They just get away with whatever they want. And boundaries are so freaking important. Qasim Rashid talked about them on his interview earlier this week about boundaries and the importance of intentionally setting them and maintaining them for yourself, not just for yourself, but for others in the process, and making sure that you're safe as a person because you have boundaries and you are willing to stick to those boundaries. And that's, I love it. I love, because that's a self evaluation tool and a self reflection tool in itself, is understanding, did I follow my boundaries, did I stick with those boundaries? um
and it's self care too.
mhm.
Self care can and should be active in a lot of ways. Where like it's not a passive thing. Rest is an act of self care, but how are you like resting doesn't mean just like go to sleep. That's such like a pejorative. There's so many people that suffer and can't sleep. I'm one of those. I can't sleep easily. Rest to me is not like go to sleep. It's am I going to journal? Am I just going to sit in my own thoughts for a little bit and process them and talk to
Mhm.
myself? It's okay to talk to yourself. Talk things out with yourself and like look back at what you did and be like, did my action align with my value? And if not, why? What held me back? What could I do better next time? What accommodations do I need so that I can meet the standard I'm trying to set for myself? Right? These are just things I do all the time, and I feel like it's important not just for men but for everyone to do. Um,
And so when you're doing those self reflections, because that's the next question, is how do you self
yeah.
reflect and self evaluate? Is when you're doing those self reflections, how do you approach them from an emotional side to yourself? Do you blame yourself for things? Do you talk yourself through them? Do you let yourself learn and grow and see them as an opportunity to change or reevaluate from? Or do you, like I said, do you beat yourself up on them? Or do you do both or all of the above? And how do you balance that?
Um, the so I do I self-reflect a lot, and I try and think back again, like I was saying, does this align with my values? One of the main things I do, I journal a lot with like physical pen and paper
Hmm.
uh, because it helps me process my thoughts because I think a lot faster than I can write.
Yeah.
So it allows for a lot of the intrusive thoughts to run through my head before I get to like the truth of like how I feel or like what happened, and I can actually like write the word down on paper or like how I'm feeling, right?
Hmm.
Because as someone with ADHD, it's hard. I have too many tabs open in my brain all the time. Music's coming out of
Yes.
one. I don't know, right? Like we all have this experience
There's a beep somewhere.
somewhere, right? And I was like, is that our neighbor's house or our house? And like then like we're gone, right?
Cool.
Like, yeah, like it's always like that. So I to self-reflect a lot of time, I really do. I have to do something with my hands. As y'all have seen, I talk with my hands a lot. I'm Portuguese. We're very much like Italians when it comes to like my husband and I look at each other sometimes and I just like hey like or like when we're scared like this is the little like oh like because something scary happened, right? Like it's a lot of like talking with our hands.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Um,
I'm a very handsy talker.
yeah. So so I reflect that way and I bounce things off my husband all the time and be like, and I've gotten a lot more vocal with like letting people know that I'm upset. I haven't been hiding my negative emotions as much lately. That's been a big way for me to be able to reflect because I learned early on that my negative emotions were met with negative consequences, so I hid them. Um, Instead of like my negative emotions being met with like a positive support to work through, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, oh, you're crying. I'll give you something to cry about was a line I heard very often. Um, uh, and that was not an empty threat.
Yeah. No,
It was not an empty
yeah,
threat.
from what you've talked
Um,
about, it definitely
yeah,
does
yeah,
not
yeah,
sound like that.
yeah, yeah. One of the compliment I used. I'm sorry, this is off on a tangent. The compliment I used to get from the adults in my life was that I had broad shoulders, that I could carry a lot of weight. And I don't think that's a compliment anyone should ever give a child. I'm just putting it out there.
No.
I'll let the group know. If you ever hear someone tell a kid that, they're like, "Oh, you got you got broad shoulders. You can carry a lot. You can carry a lot of weight." Kids should not be carrying emotional baggage.
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We need to be
But through that,
breaking the traumas of the past, not passing
yeah.
them on.
So I think through that lens is how I process is that I recognize that that kid lives inside of me, and I'm trying to be the parent that that kid never had. And like, how would I talk to him? How did I wish he was talked to? And that's how
That's
I reflect a lot. Yeah,
both sad and really reassuring. Is that you're taking care of the kid inside you that nobody ever took care of. And I think
yeah. And Neuro just
that's,
said you have a big heart. I heard that a lot too. That is not the
hmm,
compliment most people think it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I think it's really great that you are letting yourself take care of that kid that never got taken care of, because you're letting yourself heal. And I think that is probably the most valuable part of all of it, is being able to heal. Because once you can heal, once you let yourself start healing and you accept that you're worth the effort, which it sounds like you have done, and is, you are very much making that effort for yourself, is you start to see the beauty in yourself again, and you start to accept who you are. Like, it took me years to figure out who I was, and I'm a straight presenting male. Like, I'm pan, I don't give a shit. Parts, not parts.
mhm.
I'm happily married for 11 years. Just about, like, my wife and I are going to be on our 11-year anniversary this year. I'm happily married and I love my wife. And I know that it doesn't matter if she was female or male or anywhere in between. I love her for who she is because she's my best friend. She's my best friend.
And
She kicks
that's the
ass. She's my
same
best friend.
feeling I have about my husband. And
Yeah.
like I'm
And
also
that's who you
paying parts,
should
not
have.
parts. And like I didn't think I'd end up marrying a cis man. Like my family was in shock when I brought him around. They're like, "You've only ever dated women." And I'd be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And today's a new day, bitch. Turn the page. like,
Yeah. We open this new book and
yeah,
we say, "Oh, don't go there,
yeah, yeah,
girlfriend."
yeah,
hmm
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we all learned how to Z snap in high school. All of us in the millennial
yeah.
generation how to do that.
Well, yeah, we can all bend and snap. It's fine.
We all know some weird shit from being millennials. We also all know how to do like the worm and stuff. Like for
Yeah.
some reason, breakdancing became a thing. But yeah, shout out
So
to our spouses
yeah.
for being amazing. Okay, let's get to the my favorite part
Okay.
of this question set. Not the favorite part of the show, but my favorite parts of the questions. Let's get into our Milan part um, and into the "I'll make a man out of you," which is I grew up. Well, I got dared into being a choir kid, and then I became a choir kid because I did really well. And then that year I won like a vocal solo, and I never knew I
I
could
was a
sing.
choir kid.
I
Choir
was a
kids are the
choir
best.
kid, and oh hell yeah, we are. And so we had a men's choir, we had a women's choir, and we had a select choir in high school. But our men's choir always sang "I'll Make a Man Out of You," and it has some fun lessons in there. Um, and so from the chorus, I've got 4 questions for you, and these ones are good because you haven't prepared for them. I know you've heard them before, but you haven't really prepared for them, which makes this even more fun. And so let's get into the chorus of "I'll Make a Man Out of You" and figure out what does it mean to be as swift as a coursing river.
So you have to be able to be decisive. To me, being swift as a coursing river, right, is being able to be decisive uh, in a moment where there is so much around you, right? Right. The river is coursing. It's swiftly moving through, right? There are things
Mm-hmm.
happening. For me, I can bring it back to my lived experience. I'm a nurse. When my patients crash, I need to be swift as a coursing river, right? I need to do
Yeah,
everything quickly, calmly, with power behind it, right? Uh, and I need to be able to make those decisions like that, like quick, quick. So I need to also be able to be malleable and move quickly through the dangers in order to get to the other side.
I like it. Love it. Next, how do you embody the force of a great typhoon?
I stand firm on principle, stand firm on my boundaries, and speak them loudly into the universe so that they gain the power that they need to build that wall that will wipe away whatever garbage we need to get rid of and then water the earth for growth.
Being on offense.
Yep.
How are you as strong as a raging fire?
I look at all the shit that I have done that have hurt others and I work through it and I contain that flame within so that, as I said before, I'm still burning in the coals right now, trying to fly out, right? I'm in my Phoenix era right now. I'm taking
Yep.
all of the trauma that I lived through in the United States and trying to process it all, working through it all, turning that fire inward so that I can burn all that shit down and come out of the ashes a happy, joyful, whimsical man who will be a Canadian citizen hopefully soon, who will still be able to use his voice, use that typhoon, right? Use that power, but be alive to do it. Because if I stay in the trauma,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the power to help everyone else out of it.
I love it. It's again, it's a this you're what you're just quick aside before we get to the final question. What you're talking a lot about is so similar in practice to what Qasim Rashid talked about on Tuesday. Um, he came at it from his vantage point and his point of view, where he is very faithful, and he practices Islam, and he taught me so much about some of the incredible traditions and values that he learned from,
Mm-hmm.
and the practice of humanity first
Mm-hmm.
over anything else is
Mm-hmm.
so similar, even without the God answer or the God portion behind it or the faith behind it. You have such a similar outlook, and it's probably why you went into nursing. Is you have this unrelenting need to care for others and to offer service towards others, um, and so take pride in that,
I'm
brother.
gonna
Like, take pride in that
thank you so much.
unrelenting want to care for others.
I appreciate that, and thank you for giving Kasam his flowers. He totally deserves them. I'm just gonna put a quick little asterisk there. While I myself am not Muslim, uh, my greatest friends have been Muslim, and I have had the privilege of being called brother by uh, my Muslim neighbors. Right? I I make it a point where if I know that there's a sister that works with me and there's no prayer mat, I bring in a prayer mat so that they can pray, because that's how I see humanity, right? And again, I don't think we need faith. Faith is a great faith is a great source of community for people.
Yeah.
Um, my understanding of it is that we're all the every individual person is an entire universe. We all have parts of the universe inside us, right? We're all made up of the atoms that make up stars. I want to explore different universes. I want to be friends with different people and learn. Um, and I want to care for the environment. I want to care for the earth. I want to care for other universes. And I think that is a very like through line with like the Muslim religion, or
Hmm.
the Islamic religion, and like my um, very nerd first scientific approach to like we are all so powerful because we are all the universe, we are all made out of stars. Um, and I hope more people teach those lessons to their kids so that like their kids realize how beautifully magical that they are, and that like more people take their kids to like science museums. And like it doesn't always just have to be faith that like brings a community. It can be science. It can be
Hmm.
us nerds like getting
Yeah.
together and be like, you know how cool it is that you have atoms in you that the stars have? And like a lot of the men that like a lot of Muslim men that I see are also very much like into like learning of the sciences and the maths and stuff. So like that's where like we mesh really well,
Hmm.
because like it is a very basic understanding of life, which is every living being holds the same intrinsic value. There are no qualifiers.
I I use that almost exact same example with my kids, is the star one.
Yeah.
Um, because it's true, we're made of stardust. Like, we are all children of the stars. Like, it, and it's a fun way to live thinking like that, because when you die, you'll return to the stars. Like, we are
Mhm.
made of stars. We will go back to being stars. And what I
And we
told some,
had all this media that taught us this. That's the Lion King right there.
yeah, yeah, that's Mr. Rogers. That's
Yeah.
Wishbone. That's Reading
Yeah.
Rainbow. Is these taught us all these stars? Yeah, and a bit of glitter here and there
Yeah.
with a glitter envelope to a senator or a congressman. Like, yeah, you never know. Um, who knows? Glitter is fun. Make sure it just like pops out in some fun, exciting ways. What I told someone one time. was shoot for the stars, because even if you miss, you'll be among giants. And so always aim for the greatness that you want to achieve within yourself. Aim for making yourself better, because even if you miss a little bit, you'll still be among the greats who made themselves better and learned and grew. And that's the important part. And so, with the idea of stars and space in mind, our final question: how are you as mysterious as the dark side of the moon?
Oh, you never know what you're gonna get with me.
I love it.
Yeah,
Straightforward.
it's
Love it.
that's it. You never know what you're gonna get. You don't know how I'm gonna show up. Is it gonna be a suit and tie? Am I in overalls? Uh, am I crazy late? Am I way too early? Who knows?
Hey, we're only a few
Am I
hours
work?
late
Am I
today.
working on art? Right?
That's
And
really
that's for
pretty.
y'all. You can have a
Oh, that's
little.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Once it's done, I'll show the world.
Oh,
You never quite
sweet.
know
Yes.
with me. I am whimsical,
I
and
like
I love
whimsical.
my whimsy. Yeah.
Whimsy is fun. Whimsy is
Hmm.
joy. You bring a lot of joy, Jack. You've
Yeah.
This has been really fun, even through the rougher parts of learning some of your history. You have brought a lot of joy to this discussion, and it's fun to get to talk to another millennial who we're on a very similar wavelength. Um, like we would be the ones finishing each other's sandwiches in those
We would
conversations.
we would be
Uh,
finishing each other's sandwiches for sure.
yeah, like
Yeah.
we would have gotten along great growing up, and I'm glad
Yeah.
we've met, and I'm glad that we've been able to have these experiences to become friends and get to know each other. Um, and I look forward to the day that we can come get you back in the States, even just to visit,
Yeah.
because maybe you don't need to live here anymore, but just to
Yeah.
visit and you feel safe. Like, and
And
you be able to get off a plane and I could give you a hug and you feel
yeah.
safe coming into
Yeah.
this space. And we go eat
And
tacos or some shit.
dude, that's the goal right now. And like I think I forget. I'm pretty sure it was you that I messaged the other day. Um, but I had like just made burritos. I was having like an amazing like burrito dinner,
I think it
and my
was
husband
me.
and I like cracked open a couple beers. And I think I texted and I was like, I'm looking forward to like burritos and beers. Like I just want to like
Hmm.
cook for you. I
Like,
want
I
you
want
to
to
be
have a
playing
good
music in the
barbecue.
background. I want to party. Like I just want to have a good hang. I want to
Yeah.
have a good hang the way that like me and my cousins used to have like hours long hangs at like one of my aunts or uncle's houses, right?
Hmm.
I want that to be normal again to us to be able to invite our friends over and be like, "Yo, come over Thursday night. We just have dinner and the fucking evening. And yeah, it's a work night, but who cares? Because we're
Yeah.
feeding you and we're hanging out. And what else are you gonna do? Sit at home alone?"
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I
So
want to go, I want to invite you to a smoke out. Like, I do smoked meats.
hell yeah,
I'll brag on myself. I'm good as shit at that. I
hell yeah.
love me some smoked meats. But like
Like
that's what
I
I want
invite
is I
people
want to
over for
be.
a peace pipe all the time. Yeah,
Hey, nobody ever said no to peace pipes here.
yeah,
Um, and like the, I just think we, like you said, joy and whimsy, and this is this brings me a lot of hope moving forward, because we're so similar.
yeah,
Like that's the like what it boils down to into the end is Jack and I are men who are similar. Like there's no other qualifier that's needed on there. We're people who are very
yeah,
similar, and we both present as men. And I like that should be the most important thing, is that we are people who are similar, and so many of us out there, so many, like probably 99% of us are probably very similar in many ways that we are just not ready to accept yet.
yeah,
Mostly those who kind of look like me and are presenting like I do aren't ready to accept yet, because we don't have groups of men who we can cry around, or we never had a lot of friends growing up who didn't beat us up, but instead talked to us. Um, and So we learn different lessons, and now we need to learn and teach those lessons. And Jack, you are modeling an, a masculinity on offense. And I know you said you were only doing that, some of it more recently, but you're modeling it. And it's important that you're modeling it because we all are modeling in our own different ways and seeing it, and then being able to get the feedback from our friends so that we can grow too is so vitally important and so fun. Um, and yeah, let's go make some plans. Let's make sure all
Yeah,
you people
I
in
think Beth is gonna come visit me for
Bet's
some
the
pizza. I think.
closest to you. I used to live in
Yeah.
Washington State, so it's a stone's throw away. And yeah,
Beth,
Beth's great people.
I'm less than 2 hours away from I'm less than 2 hours outside Seattle, on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge.
Freedom. He's on the
Yeah.
freedom side. He's on the freedom side. We're on the slavery side. We're right now
Yeah.
we're in the FUBAR part of America, and Jack has luckily been able to get out of the FUBAR. Um,
Dude, I needed
and
to.
oof,
After getting beat the second time, my job said, "So what? Keep working."
I can't even imagine, dude. Like I also didn't work in a job where I was like near other people, so I didn't have to worry about getting beaten up or beaten. But damn, like what a shit show. We need to start just treating nurses better, just in general. Like stop
Yeah.
treating nurses like shit. Um,
Yep.
I don't want to leave us on that though. On that note, I want to leave us on because we've this has been one of our longest discussions, and I'm so glad it has because it's just been 2 hours. You sort of didn't. I sort of didn't notice we went for 2 hours.
And thank you for giving me that too. And I'm very I'm very Portuguese. I know that like I was born in the U.S. I'm first generation, but my husband has even complained at times about the Portuguese goodbye.
What the one
A
that takes
Portu-
4 hours?
yeah, huh? So I'm
It's
very
like the
much a
Jewish
Portuguese
goodbye.
goodbye kind of boy. So thank you for allowing me all this time in the world.
You're so welcome. I'm here for you, man. I'm here for y'all, and I'm here. So now you, if you can read it,
Yep.
find my way around.
Now you know, so you could
Now
grow
you
for
know,
sure.
so you can grow. You can order it on the Sick of This shop if you want. But that's part of this whole experience is now you know, so you can grow, so we can all grow because there is a way out of this shit, and it's okay if we grow out of it and we learn to move forward. And I'm glad we are connecting friends and making new friends in the chat because that's like half the fun of this is you guys like of the all the folks here, probably half of you, if not more, are here every single time. Like, if not more. Like I I can't see all the names that come in, but I'm pretty sure a majority of you are here every single show, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming and listening to these discussions and helping us build this community into such a wonderful place. And those for those of you who are not on Substack with us, who are here on either Twitch or YouTube, thanks for joining us. Like, awesome, love it, appreciate the support across the board and across all our platforms. And this is the final part where Jack, you get to promote yourself and talk about what you're doing here and where people can find you and how they can support you. And the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you so much. So I'm Jack. I'm over at Jack Safe Space. Um, it really is just like an amalgamation of like posts that you should read to be a well-rounded human. Um, I am not the one writing all of them because that is not my special skill. My special skill is being the human that I am and being like more people need to read this. So, if you're ever looking for something to read, you can come over to my page. There's no paywall because I'm not producing anything. Um, I'm just helping people get their work out there that really we need to know more about the world. We need to understand what's happening to the Cuban population. We need to understand what's happening to the queer population in the US. We need to be more educated adults less smooth brain, more ridges in our brains, please. We need to carve them out by reading. Uh, we don't want to look like a sloth. Their brain is just like a ball sack, smooth as shit. Um, so please, folks, just come over and read stuff that I've reposted. You don't have to agree with me. Just read it and formulate your own opinion.
I love it. Thanks,
Yeah,
Jack. Thanks so
same.
much for joining me for this, having this very vulnerable and open conversation. And again, thanks to everyone in the audience who joined us for it. Whether you've been here since the beginning, whether you got here late, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for joining in on our discussion, being lively and respectful in the chat, and asking great questions and sharing your feedback. We Jack and I have been reading most of it. Jack's been commenting. I've been commenting. Like, thank you all so much for the love and support. You will be able to find a replay here posted soon. I'm going to take my time at a night personality profile and his is going to factor in again into more of our written articles and the long form series that's going to be following all of this as we continue the intelligent masculinity series in perpetuity, because it's really important. And this is just one of the ways I'm showing. Yeah.
If I could, quick plug, Nick. For anyone that does do work out there and would like to ask an actual trans person who has lived through trauma questions instead of just like opining about what we may or may not be experiencing or thinking, I'm available. Shoot me a message. I'm super welcoming. I'm putting this out there for whoever listens to this, whatever kind of work you do. If anyone does need, uh, I am a, I am okay outing myself as a trans man, and okay sharing my experience as my individual experience, but better than just, you know, fighting for our rights without actually knowing what
Mm-hmm.
we need. I think sometimes is a little like scary for people.
Yeah.
So if like folks need to talk to me to realize like what we need, I'm here.
Thank you for making that offer and being available. I think people are afraid sometimes to even ask because we're afraid that we may insult or,
Yeah.
and knowing that there is a space if you ask in truth and earnesty
Mm-hmm.
and not to be a dickhead,
Yeah,
there's a space
I am a
available.
safe space. The safe space is no physical location. I am it. It's okay. Folks can come to
Yeah.
me.
I appreciate you, Jack. Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you for making such a wonderful offer for folks. And we talk back and forth anyways. Jack and I have become friends through all of this, and to me that's the most valuable part out of all of this, is making friends and being part of a community again, and a community that values each other and cares about each other. So again, Jack, just for you, but also for everyone else in the audience, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of my community too. Thank you for welcoming me into your lives. Um, and thank you for being a safe space with me back,
For sure, dude.
because I appreciate it. And I value these new friendships. Like, I was desperate to find friends, and I'm so glad that I have been able to do that. And I think so many more men just need to find a group of friends, and the whole world would be a lot fucking better. Like,
Yep.
find some friends that don't suck, and you'll be a better person. So, leaving you
100%.
leaving you all on that wonderful note is find a good group of friends that you can cry with, dudes, bros, men. Find a good group of friends and let yourself be yourself, because we're done with being sick of this shit, and we're doing this shit here. So thanks
Hell
everyone.
yeah. No
Thanks,
more
Jack.
poser behavior. For sure.
Heck yeah. Take that
Yeah.
mask off and be a man.
Damn right.
Take that mask off and cry. Go be a
Yeah.
man. Go cry tonight. Go tell
Yeah.
somebody you love them. Go
Go
buy
watch
your,
the Super Bowl halftime show. Go
yeah.
watch this year's Super Bowl halftime show and realize that like some of the lyrics that were sung said, I should have taken more photos when you were with me. And then look at the people who are dancing. It's not romantic relationships, right? One of the
Mhm.
overarching messages in that Super Bowl performance is I should have given you more hugs and kisses when you were with me. I should have taken more photos when you were with me. Go back and watch that, have a good cry, and then go out and tell the people that you love that you want to take a group photo with them.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Photos last for a long time. Make sure you take pictures of your spouse or your friends and make sure
yeah,
you send them to them too so that they know. Thanks, man.
yeah.
This has been
I
amazing.
got you, dude.
And thanks, everybody in the audience. Thank you so much for such a wonderful way to close out the day. Go have a great day. There's a lot of shit going on. Let's be done being sick of it and let's start doing this shit. Thanks, everyone.